You're listening to Lake Effect on 89.7 Milwaukee's NPR. I'm Audrey Nowakowski. Cheese is obviously a big deal here in Wisconsin. Custard, too, we can't forget about that. And it might be easy to take these dairy staples for granted, and June is the perfect time to learn more about where our favorite dairy products come from. It's National Dairy Month, and so for this month's Wandering Wisconsin, we'll tell you about a big red barn on the side of the highway just south of Manitowoc. It's the Farm Wisconsin Discovery Center. Lake Effect's Becky Mortensen is joined by its executive director, Patty Lane, and Amanda Weibel with Travel Wisconsin.
Patty and Amanda, welcome to Lake Effect. Thank you for joining me for another Wandering Wisconsin.
Glad to be here.
Thank you.
Let's start by talking about Wisconsin's dairy industry. Patty, can you explain why dairy production is so significant in the state?
Oh, sure. The agriculture industry in Wisconsin is so significant to our economy, and it's really hard to draw a line around dairy specifically because there are so many ancillary industries that are related to dairy. So our agriculture industry in Wisconsin is a $104 billion industry. So it's very significant, and dairy is a significant portion of that.
And Amanda, we've talked in the past about agritourism and why people are becoming more interested in seeing where their food and other products come from. And it sounds like Farm Wisconsin Discovery Center is the perfect place to do that. So, Patty, what can people learn on a visit to the center?
Well, they can learn about where their food comes from in a nutshell. We do that by having 3 different experiences for our visitors. We have 10,000 square feet of exhibits that deal with anything from dairy is certainly front and center when you get into our exhibit area, but we also talk about the diversity of agriculture in Wisconsin. Because our beautiful state is so diverse in its topography and soil and climate, different things grow better in various regions of the state. So that is another significant area. We talk about the environment and technology, as well as just the culture of agriculture and the careers that are associated. We also have a virtual farm tour of a local modern dairy farm. So that is wonderful to be able to travel through this farm, literally right through the barn and right up to the rotary parlor area where the cows get milked. And then what's really special, I like to call it the exclamation point to a visit, is our Land O'Lakes birthing barn. So we bring 2 pregnant cows from that farm that we do the farm tour through. And the hope is and I can't guarantee for obvious reasons that we're going to have a birth, but there's a little announcement that gets made to tell people that they can go experience the miracle of birth in the Land O'Lakes birthing barn. So we want to make sure anybody who's in the building has the opportunity to see that happen. Most days we have at least 1 birth in our Land O'Lakes birthing barn. So visitors are able to see that miracle happen right here.
Amazing. And there's a farmhouse store and a cafe as well.
Yeah, I'd like to say that kind of brings the farm to table story full circle. So you can either buy products in our store that are sourced here in Wisconsin. Of course, we've got plenty of Wisconsin cheese. And then our Wisconsin Cafe also features farm to table breakfast and lunch items.
And we've got Dairy Day coming up on June 22nd, and there's some special stuff going on at the center for that. So what can you tell me about Dairy Day?
We do special events. We average about 1 a month. So in June, our special event where we go deeper into the topic is dairy, of course. So we're having June Dairy Day on Saturday, June 22nd. So we have special activities that go above and beyond what our core activities are here in the Discovery Center on a daily basis. We'll be following from cow to carton, the path that milk takes, so that people, again, understand that milk doesn't just come out of the grocery store. It actually has a supply chain that it goes through. We'll have, of course, additional animals here on site. So one thing that has become very interesting to people with dietary issues is A2 milk. And so we will have an A2 sourced farm that will be bringing in their Jersey calf. It's a farm that produces A2 cheese. So learning more about that directly from the farmer is something that people can anticipate. Also have clipping demonstrations and a few other science-related activities. So it's a great day to come on to Farm Wisconsin.
And what is A2 milk?
A lot of times people think that they are allergic to milk or just have problems digesting. So A2 is a protein that is more easily digested. And so the cows are bred to have A2 instead of the other proteins that are more difficult to digest.
Interesting.
And I'm not a science major, so there's a much more technical description to that, but it is just much more palatable for people who otherwise can't enjoy some of the dairy products that we produce in our state.
Okay. So, Amanda, if travelers maybe want to make a weekend out of their dairy day, what are some other things they could do while they're in the Manitowoc area?
Well, you are going to find activities that everyone in your travel party will enjoy in the Manitowoc area. Maybe you want to add a little arts and culture to your itinerary. Then the RAR West Art Museum is going to be your go-to stop. It's a free museum and it's set in this beautiful Victorian era mansion. And the museum's collection is so impressive. They have artwork from well-known names like Picasso, Georgia O'Keeffe, and even Andy Warhol. If you want to get outdoors and catch some cool breezes and Lake Michigan views, check out the Mariners Trail. The trail winds along the shoreline for 6 miles and it connects the cities of Manitowoc and Two Rivers. So you can walk, bike, jog, rollerblade the trail, however you want to go about it. But you're going to see some really fun artwork, beautiful flowers, and of course, great views of Lake Michigan along the way. And once you've made it to Two Rivers, you're going to want to head to Point Beach State Forest to see the historic Raleigh Point Lighthouse. It has been operated and maintained by the Coast Guard since 1853. And you can also explore 6 more miles of sandy beaches. And the state forest even has a beach wheelchair available at no cost for folks with mobility issues to get to enjoy the sand as well.
So if people didn't fill up on goods from that farmhouse store, where are some places you'd recommend they check out to eat?
I recommend visiting the Courthouse Pub for some unexpected flavors. They infuse creativity into every dish, and they even cleverly name their meals off of the nearby courthouse. So instead of an appetizer, you're going to start your meal with one of the Courthouse Pub's opening statements, like the smoked salmon dip or cherry cola sliders. And for the main meal, maybe you'll go with a sandwich like their blackberry and brie burger, or an entree, also known as small claims on their menu, like the coconut dusted chicken, which is served with a mango chili chutney. Another great dining spot in Manitowoc is the Wharf. It's a waterfront restaurant and music venue. They have this massive outdoor patio where you are going to make the most of those sweet summer moments. You'll be savoring your classic pub fare while enjoying live bands, and that happens every weekend through September.
Are there any interesting places to stay in the area?
In Two Rivers, you have a rare chance to spend the night in a Frank Lloyd Wright designed house. Still Bend is a gorgeous home designed by the famed Wisconsin architect. Because it is a very popular option, Still Bend is almost completely booked up for the summer season, so you might want to look into availability for the fall or winter. But they do offer public tours of the house in the summer to give you a glimpse of Frank Lloyd Wright's innovative designs. But another easier option to book a room for the summer would be the Village Inn on the Lake. It's right across the road from Lake Michigan. It's just south of Two Rivers. And you can either spend the weekend in one of their hotel rooms, maybe the Whirlpool suites, or tow the camper along and stay in their RV park, where you're also going to enjoy on-site amenities like an 18-hole mini golf course and an indoor swimming pool.
So Dairy Month is celebrated nationally, but obviously dairy is a big deal here in Wisconsin. So for both of you, why would you encourage people to learn about the state's dairy industry?
I think it's really important for people to know about where their food comes from. And I'm of an age where when I was in school, a lot of us either had a family member or a good friend who, we had the ability to go to a farm because we knew somebody with a farm. That is less and less the case now. And only 2% of our population is involved in food production. So it's really important to decrease our learning gap and come and just learn more about our food, but also because it's fun.
And Amanda?
As Patty mentioned, the dairy industry is such a big contributor to our state's economy. We are still home to over 1 million cows, and our cheesemakers regularly win more awards than any other state or even any country. But like Patty mentioned, that personal connection is so unique. I've mentioned to Becky before, I actually grew up on a dairy farm. My brother is a fifth generation to work on our family farm. So to me, that personal connection is really important. But even if you don't have a farming background, I just think it's so special how, like Patty mentioned, Wisconsin has so many ways to still connect people to and help you experience Wisconsin's dairy industry. You can go on a farm tour, you can find tasting events, you can visit the Farm Wisconsin Discovery Center like we've been discussing today. There are just so many fun and engaging ways to experience the dairy state.
The only other thing that I would mention, I hear all the time that people recognize our building. We're that big red barn along I-43 just south of Manitowoc. And people are constantly, oh, I have driven by that so many times and I've never stopped. And just this morning, I ran into a family who was saying that. We have driven by here dozens and dozens of times, and we finally decided to come see what it's all about. So people are very, very familiar with the landmark of our building, and it's great for them to realize that they can come explore here.
I am one of those people. When Amanda suggested this segment, I was like, I totally know that building.
Yeah. I have heard so many times, beautiful building. What is it? So it's like, oh, come explore.
I think I've said out loud driving by before, like, I wonder what that is. Like, I should check that out sometime.
I will actually confess that I have not been there either, which I'm very sad.
Oh my gosh. And Amanda, I'm so happy to hear that you're also a dairy farm girl.
Yeah.
I am too. I grew up in this county on a little 60 cow dairy farm.
Well, my family farm was about 60 cows too. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, I will be sure to next time. I won't just drive by. I'll stop in and check it out.
Please do.
Patty, Amanda, thank you both so much for joining me for Wandering Wisconsin.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for the opportunity. Really appreciate.
Patty Lane is the Executive Director of the Farm Wisconsin Discovery Center. Amanda Weibel is the Communications Officer for Travel Wisconsin.